Okay, let's jump right into this explainer of Thomas Lethia's book, 12 Steps to a Good Life. Today we're tackling something that affects literally every single one of us. Usually, we just treat stress like this vague, invisible cloud hovering over our heads, right? But what if we didn't just talk about how stress feels? What if we actually transformed that abstract feeling into a hard, concrete metric? That's right, today we are going to quantify it.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. What is the exact mathematical cost of your past year? Seriously, try to mentally calculate the hidden weight of everything that's happened to you recently. We usually brush stress off as just an emotion, a passing mood or a rough Tuesday at the office. But the core premise we're exploring today is that stress isn't just a feeling. It's an actual measurable physiological response, and it physically accumulates in your body over time.
Moving into Section 1, the hidden cost of stress.
The book argues that the very first step to a good life is acknowledging a really tough fundamental truth. Life is, well, unmanageable. A massive chunk of our chronic anxiety comes from this illusion that our lives can and absolutely should be under our total control. But as M. Scott Peck brilliantly points out, emotional health is facing reality at any cost. We tend to build these tiny, rigid boxes of denial just to protect ourselves from the chaos of the world. But to build true resilience, we have to face the hard facts. And honestly, sometimes the absolute best way to face those facts is to literally count them.
Which leads us nicely into Section 2, the Holmes-Rahe Stress Quiz.
The book utilizes this highly specific quantitative tool to help you measure the accumulated physiological impact of stress. It provides a checklist of life events from the past year, assigning exact numerical weights to each. So start doing the math in your head. The death of a spouse is the absolute maximum baseline at 100 points. Divorce is a 73. Being fired from work hits you for 47. But look closely here. Even positive events carry a stressful numerical weight. Getting married? That's 50 points. Even a simple change in your sleeping habits tags you for 16 points. And yes, taking a relaxing vacation literally slaps you with 13 points of stress. It's wild, but your body doesn't just react to bad news, it reacts to change.
All right, Section 3, calculating your vulnerability score. Okay, so what does that total score you've been adding up actually mean for your immune system? Well, if your score for the past year hits 300 or more, you are at a high risk of developing a physical illness. I'll just let that land for a second. Think about it. If you've had a year where maybe you got married, moved to a new house, changed your work hours, and went on a vacation or two, you could easily be over 300 without a single actual tragedy happening. At that number, your body is physically at its breaking point. Now, if you drop into the 150 to 299 point bracket, that still leaves you with a moderate risk of illness. It really just goes to show how insanely fast minor life events stack up. You might be thinking, oh, I'm just a little busy right now. But throw in a change in eating habits, a new boss, and taking out a minor mortgage, suddenly you're pushed right into this danger zone, quietly eroding your physical health. To maintain just a slight risk of a stress-related illness, your score actually needs to be less than 150 points. That's the healthy baseline. But let's be real, in our modern, super fast-paced world, staying under that number is incredibly difficult. So, if almost all of us are walking around carrying this heavy mathematical burden, we really need to understand exactly what it's doing to us on the inside.
Let's unpack that in Section 4, understanding the stress cycle.
When your numbers are high, your body is basically swimming in stress hormones. And every single stress response follows 3 distinct parts. First up, you perceive a threat. Let's say getting a late-night email from your boss. Second, you have a physical response to that threat. Your sympathetic nervous system kicks into high gear, your heart rate spikes, adrenaline starts pumping. But here's the exact moment we get trapped. Chronic stress happens because we almost never complete step 3, the release from the threat. We read that stressful email, our heart races, and then we just go to sleep. The cycle never actually finishes, so those chemicals just sit there in our bodies, breaking down our immune system.
So how do we stop it? That brings us to Section 5, tools for immediate relief.
The good news here is that the book doesn't just leave us with a terrifyingly high score and a sense of impending doom. It gives us actual actionable tools. Because look, we can't always control the events that rack up our points, but we absolutely can control how our body completes the stress cycle. Tactical breathing, also known as box breathing, is one of the best quick relief tools out there. First responders and elite athletes use this all the time. You inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. Doing this literally forces your parasympathetic nervous system to kick on. It acts exactly like a brake pedal for your body, naturally lowering your heart rate and physically signaling your brain that the threat has finally passed.
Next up, Section 6, Building Long-Term Resilience.
While those breathing exercises are fantastic for immediate relief, bringing the permanent impact of your vulnerability score down requires some deeper structural changes. You have to build a baseline that processes chaos naturally. And the book's ultimate long-term tool for doing exactly that is the RADAR framework. It stands for Reflect, Describe, and Respond. Here's how it works. When a stressor hits you, instead of instantly reacting, you pause to reflect on your internal state. Then, you describe the facts of the situation, entirely without judgment. And finally, you intentionally choose how to respond. RADAR takes you off autopilot. It creates this absolutely crucial space between what you're feeling in the moment and what you actually end up doing.
Now, to really support that intentional mindset, you need solid foundational lifestyle habits. The book emphasizes a few physical anchors, starting with adequate sleep and nutrition. This actually includes a really cool Japanese concept called hara hachi bumi, which simply means eating until you are about 80% full, just to avoid putting unnecessary physical stress on your digestive system. It also highlights engaging in physical movement. Movement is literally the ultimate way to complete that biological stress cycle we talked about earlier. Beyond that, the book points to positive reframing, getting organized to eliminate time shortage stress, and simply living virtuously and helping others. These habits, when combined, build the strong, healthy baseline that naturally pushes back against the chaos of life's unmanageability.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question. Are you ready to lower your score? We can't stop life from happening. We can't stop the job changes, the moves, or even the fun vacations from adding points to our ledger. But we absolutely can take charge of our mathematical vulnerability. By facing reality head-on, completing our stress cycles, and actively applying tools like box breathing and the RADAR framework to our daily lives, we can actually navigate all this unmanageability with grace. So take a moment today to honestly calculate your score. And then, take a really deep breath. You've got the tools now. It's time to use them.